I am here with Dr. Bowles, and we are going to do an interview on her time here at Minot State. And the first question I would like to ask you is, how many degrees do you have?
Okay, I have an undergraduate degree from Pfeiffer College in North Carolina. I have a master's degree. The undergraduate degree is in music ed. The master's degree in vocal performance from East Carolina University in North Carolina. And I did many years of doctoral work at Indiana University, had a wonderful experience there, and did not finish the degree, married Ken, and we moved here. And then through some wonderful opportunities that the university provided, I was able to complete my doctorate from Texas Tech in a Doctor of Musical Arts in 2009. So,
In what year did you move here and begin to teach here?
we moved in 93. My husband was hired as the director of choral activities, and we were newlyweds. We had been married about 9 months when we moved here. And so he was hired that year, and then I was hired the following year. But when we moved, we had been told there was likelihood that there would be a tenure track position for me. So that was a great motivator, and we obviously liked it. I mean, here we are.
Absolutely. So throughout your time teaching, how many students roughly would you say that you had before you moved here? And then how many students did you have after you moved here?
Whew. Now that's a good question. I started teaching voice in North Carolina 1980. I graduated in 81 from my undergraduate school and started working at a community college teaching there. So I would probably have 10 students a year, not necessarily new students. And then one of my assistantships at Indiana University was to teach undergraduate music ed majors, but I also taught other students in disciplines. Like there was a violin teacher there who wanted me to work with her violinists so that they would sing more through their instruments. So I had some wonderful master's level students, and that was 10 hours a semester. I've never thought of it that way. I've never kept up with how many. By far more students once I've gotten here, but throughout my master's degree, I was teaching at this little community college close to home, so I had students there, and I always also taught piano. And the first year we were here, I taught a lot of piano. Arnola Leverson met me, and Arnola knows everybody, so and they know her, so people would call her and asking for a piano teacher, and she gave them my name. So I had a nice piano studio at home the first year we were here, and then I also was playing for Ken's choirs, so I was up here and did some accompanying here too. But it was the second year that I was hired and started teaching voice. A lot of students.
I being one of your students,
Yes.
which I am so thankful for all the work that you've done with me, and I can't wait to continue. I wish you were still going to be here, like in the building every day. It's always lovely to see your face.
There are costumes to be built, so I probably will be up here at least through September. This has been home for us, and there's something that was really special about getting to come here as a newly married couple and depend on one another, and then to get to work together. That's really rich. And so you had asked me earlier what I thought might be my most memorable music experience, and I've spent the last hour ruminating on that a little bit. I've been teaching too, but I don't think I could condense it into one experience. I think the whole thing, just getting to be around music and to make music with my colleagues. Certainly Ken and I, it feels odd to call him Ken in front of you because I always am formal enough to say, well, Dr. Bowles. But getting to do those recitals, we did a lot of recitals together. And before the Andersons moved here, my friend Sandra Hislop from my Indiana University days would fly over and work with us. And then once the Andersons came and Dr. and Mrs. Anderson would accompany me, those are rich experiences. And recitals that were done with Dr. Rumney and Dr. Anderson and Adam Estes. Those experiences that I got to have as a singer while teaching and being very active in the opera company and singing lots of roles there, and then moving into the wonderful position of encouraging my students to be involved in things. That's a real rich plate, a rich palette of experiences that I'm sure that I will miss a bit as I move into retirement. But I think that the connections that are made with people through making all of that music, that doesn't go away, and music doesn't go away. Just the way that I will move into new chapters will change a bit. So I hope to be around some. I hope to do some accompanying work as needed, but the richness of this place that has been home for us, it's pretty seasonal. Summers are not all spent up here, but because you live up here too, we just, many nights in a row, things to do. Now, I taught public school music for a couple of years before I went back to do my doctorate, and I will say with gratitude that most people don't want to sing at 8 a.m. And if they did, I don't know that I can think at 8 a.m. So my day may not start as soon as most people's do, but I'm a night owl, so it has, this work, this adventure has served me very well, and I'm grateful.
Right. What classes have you taught here?
Well, primarily I have taught private voice lessons, but I have also taught a voice methods class, a vocal pedagogy class. I taught a fundamentals of music class for several semesters, even in the summer, and that was really fun. The students who were required to take it weren't always initially happy to have to take a class that may have been repetitious for some of those who had band or choir. And so I would say, well, I'm not teaching you these concepts, I'm teaching you how to teach these concepts. And so let's try to make it interesting. So I taught them solfege and made them sing, and I did make them sing. Some of them didn't want to sing. But beyond that, I have always been so busy teaching voice. Opera scenes. Ken and I taught that together for a long time. And then one semester, I was so fortunate, Adam Hendrum returned to finish his degree, and with wonderful theater experience, I talked him into coming into the class and helping with the movement part of it, because I was typically accompanying too. So it's all just tied up into singing, most of what I've done.
Wonderful. So, in talking through all of this, one of the questions I want to ask is, I did ask what your favorite memory was, but so what you'll miss most, is that just like the feeling of being home?
Well, I also like my home. I'm glad. I want to see more of my home. Honestly, there's a thing that happens in a lesson where the light turns on, and I know this has been said by other teachers too, that you want to light the flame and encourage people to know more. But there's a moment that happens in a lesson when a singer finds a color or a freedom or a flexibility or a something, and they didn't know that they could do that. And I was there to see the look on their face when they did it. And that I hope that will continue to be a part of my life in other ways. I have grandchildren. I want to show them things too and enjoy experiences with them. But I think in a lesson, that moment when they see it, it's the aha moment. That's important, you know. And then I feel like what I've done has made a difference, not just in their singing life, but in their life, to understand that they can take on things that are difficult or that may seem silly at the moment, but they're trusting me enough to do the silly thing I'm asking them to do. And I like that feeling. I like being the person to open the door and then see what they do with it. And certainly I love listening to the various kinds of music. I don't have a strong background in a lot of areas, but the standard, the classical music that by classical I don't mean like Mozart, but just the standard repertoire, that body of song that's so rich. I know that I'm the person that gets to introduce a lot of that because it's not playing on the radio stations. You can find a lot of things on YouTube, but you have to know what to look for, and I like that. I remember a student, Amy Dahl, and I would give her a piece of music and she'd say, "That is the most beautiful piece of music I've ever heard." And I'd say, "Great." And then I'd give her another piece of music and she'd say, "That's the most beautiful piece of music I've ever heard." And it felt great to know that that she heard it and that she liked it and she was drawn to it. I think that's a responsibility I have to show you all what has gone before, but I also know that there's so much more that's being written now that I don't know, and that hopefully other people, as they come in and establish themselves in this wonderful place to teach, that they will fill in some of those gaps for you all. So as I get older, I know what I know, but I also really know what I don't know, which is, it's okay to have that realization and say, I will certainly miss this. I don't know where I'm going to put all of the stuff that's in this studio. I have no idea. We're looking at shelving at IKEA. We're trying to figure out what we're going to do. But it's, in a sense, I don't think I'm going to miss, because it's still with me, you know. It's all still with me.
Yeah. We'll definitely miss you around. You know, you've taught me so much in the 2 years that I've been working with you, and I couldn't even imagine how many people you've taught with umpteen years, you know what I mean?
Well, I am going to look that up and figure it out, because I know I've helped students do a lot of recitals. I think I'm up to about 60 now, maybe just over 60. But I've never kept up with the numbers of students that I've taught, because a lot of people will study for a semester or two, or they might be a clarinet major and they'll study for a couple of semesters and then choose to focus more on their instrument. And that's a great thing about this school, that there is the encouragement to take advantage of private study as long as you can, before you trim down and focus on that final recital project.
Right. Well, it was great interviewing you, and I can't wait to keep working with you. So
I'm eager for our next lesson. And I'm also hopeful that whoever's going to edit this will take out any repetitions, because this stream of consciousness thing is nice, but I'm not accustomed to being interviewed and videoed. So thank you for the flattering opportunity to have my thoughts recorded.
Absolutely.